Hey, good morning. I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack, and welcome to the John F. Gately Show. Happy Tuesday. It looks like a beautiful day out there, broadcasting to you from beautiful Plymouth. Spring is here. It's here. It's here. It's fantastic. Welcome to the show. Well, we have some new video from the possible TDS episode down in New Bedford from one of the Rhode Island TV stations. We have a Hingham / Martha's Vineyard woman triggered when ICE is doing its job, taking illegals off the board. And Worcester City Hall is going to be closed tonight because of potential trouble with the anti-ICE, anti-federal government protests, plus a lot more. Maura is coming out with a new energy plan. Don't you worry. Everything's going to be just fine. But first off, let's cover a couple of tidbits, I would say, first, and then we'll get into our main stories. The first isn't a tidbit. This is some really good news. Legend Rob Eno, founder of Red Mass Group, is now the managing editor of Blaze News. Red Mass Group, legendary website, competed with Blue Mass Group kind of head-to-head. And Rob played a huge role in electing Scott Brown back in the day. And now he's the managing editor of Blaze News. You should follow Rob if you're not already doing that. At Rob Eno. Congratulations, Rob, on this promotion. Great news and well-deserved. Massachusetts guy making it in the big time. Way to go, Rob. Great to hear of that for you. Good work. Great. I'm very happy for you. By the way, if you're up in the North Shore, Beverly, Wenham area today, and you want to chip in and elect another Republican to Beacon Hill, Medley Long the third is on the ballot today. Today is the day. And if you can get up there and chip in for Medley, today would be the day. By the way, while we're talking about this, it's really good time to have another Republican on Beacon Hill because apparently the Democrats can't shoot straight. Or, well, they don't want you to have guns at all, but if they had guns, because yesterday a Western Massachusetts state senator was denied the opportunity to testify at a Beacon hearing because he was participating remotely, and because the House on Beacon Hill and the Senate on Beacon Hill have not agreed to joint rules, even though they are both overwhelmingly dominated by Democrats. It's a Democrat supermajority. It's May, and they can't get their together to come up with joint rules. And so this state senator who is participating virtually wanted to testify, and the House member objected to him testifying. And so he wasn't able to testify. By the way, for those of you who've never really attended a legislative hearing, when one of the members shows up to testify, state rep, state senator, they show up to testify, the hearing chairman almost always lets them cut in line and lets them have their 2 cents, and so that they can go, back to the floor to vote or go do some other meeting. It's a courtesy that you provide to the other members. And the simple fact of the matter is when the Democrats control both sides of both chambers and by supermajorities, they can't get anything organized again in May, and there's still no joint rules. And so this guy, what was his name here? I'm not actually familiar with this state senator. Jacob Oliveira of Ludlow could not testify at the hearing because both chambers are at odds with each other. The Democrats are fighting the Democrats. But you can depend upon them. They manage the state just fine. Don't you worry. They're great managers. Okay. Political squirrel reminding me that this is the most Massachusetts thing ever. We just hired the head of the Chicago schools to basically run education here in Massachusetts. And did you know that 24 schools, almost all in Chicago, so we just hired the head of Chicago schools, 24 schools have 0 students that are proficient in reading. Yes, political squirrel, that is maybe the most Massachusetts thing ever. You thought the Dung Queens were the most Massachusetts thing ever, but the fact that we would hire a superintendent that has schools that nobody reads at a proficient level, 0, that could be the most proficient, most Massachusetts thing ever. All right, so yesterday, if you weren't aware, there late in the afternoon, or sometime in the middle of the day, and then late in the afternoon before the news outlets started to cover it, a woman in New Bedford took her vehicle and drove it into the federal building, which is named after former Congressman Hastings Keith, who this is probably the most publicity Hastings has gotten since the early 70s. She drove it into the federal building. There wasn't really that much physical damage. I think she broke a window. A guard was injured. He sought treatment and has been since released. I think he's going to be okay, but I'm sure he's rattled. But before she drove into the federal building, she took a flag and a gallon of gasoline and tried to light that. She was rebuffed. Great job, security. And now we have footage from New Bedford. Let's take a look at this possible TDS episode.
And first at 11, this is new video showing the moments after police say a New Bedford woman crashed her car into the front doors of a federal building, and she's accused of hitting a security officer. I'm Patrice Wood.
And I'm Dan Jake. This was a wild scene. Police say this happened just moments after she also tried.
You can kind of see in the distance there, under the awning of the building, her silver SUV.
To burn an American flag inside the building. Tonight, Team's John Perrick is live where that incident happened. John?
Well, Dan and Patrice, there is slight damage here to the building. This is the window right by the front door. You can see the glass is slightly shattered there, but I want to point out one.
We'll rebuild. Don't worry.
Thing here in the parking lot. You see those yellow pylons? Those are designed to prevent incidents like this from happening.
That's the worst of the worst. I mean, I've never seen nothing like that before.
New video shows a vehicle stuck under the front awning of this federal building in New Bedford.
There's a woman who attempted what I would characterize as at least one, if not 2 acts of violence.
Police tell us 26-year-old Jennifer Judith Padilla tried to enter the Hastings Keith Social Security.
It's Hastings Keith, but set that aside.
Federal building around 11 o'clock this morning. Authorities say in her hands were an American flag and a container of gasoline. Officers tell us she then poured the gas on the flag, attempting to set it on fire. Then security intervened, exiting her out of the building. Moments later, police say she got into her vehicle.
Yeah, that's a good picture. Actually, you can see she just drove it right up in there
and drove it straight into the front doors, hitting one security officer.
Unbelievable. Another potential TDS. We don't know what's going on there, but the fact that she had the flag and the gallon of gasoline kind of indicates that this was a political statement. This was probably a political statement. Hopefully we'll know more as time progresses here. I could not locate her on social media. Maybe somebody of you can. But clearly she had a difficult day. So we'll find out more as that story develops. By the way, out of New Bedford, following up, remember the story about a week or two ago where ICE had to break the window, icebreaker, right? Remember that? Because the illegal immigrant wouldn't get out of the car. And they were like, whoa, I have my cell phone camera on. They won't break the window. Oh, yes, they will. And so it was like an hour standoff on some New Bedford side street. And eventually ICE broke the window. Remember that? And yeah, so he's been now released by a judge. But because he was such a stick in the mud during this traffic stop, ICE is now pressing charges against him. So if he had just complied, and got out of the car and was like, okay, you got me. And he would be on the street. He would be back on the street with his family right now. But because he was such a, you know what, during the whole process, ICE is now making an example of them. And I agree with him. He should be making an example because he's now facing misdemeanor charges against Juan Francisco Mendez that could keep him in custody until at least next week. I was interested to find out that a so-called administrative error, according to his lawyer, caused Mendez to be assigned multiple alien registration numbers, creating confusion amongst lawyers, the courts, and ICE, according to his lawyer. Oh, okay. So it was the government that gave him multiple alien registration numbers. Oh, sure. He didn't apply multiple times, or he wasn't running a scam. No, don't suggest that, Jack. No, he is completely innocent victim. He would never apply for multiple, what do they call them? Alien registration numbers. No, he would never do that. No, not at all. But he'd be out by now if he just was compliant with the officers and obeyed the federal commands like, hey, we are here for you. Get out of the car. And remember, again, that when you're trying to fix your immigration status, that usually means that you are here illegally. Now, his wife is here legally. That's fine. Hold on here. Trying to run a business here, as you know. His wife is here legally, to the best of our knowledge. But he is not. In saying that you're here you're currently fixing your status. Yeah, that is not how it works. You either have your status or you don't. We'll just put that on mute for now. Worcester City Hall, due to public safety concerns and out of abundance of caution, City Hall will close to the public today at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, May 13th. So, there are scheduled 2 meetings this afternoon. There's a budget meeting at 5:30, I think. Is it 5:30? It doesn't really matter. There's a budget meeting, and then there's the official city council meeting, which is expected to be a barn burner, to say the least. And apparently the only people who will be at the hearing in person are going to be the councilors. Everything else is going to be remote participation. I don't know why they would have any trouble with anybody over at Worcester City Hall. Everyone in Worcester is completely normal and well behaved. As we saw on Eureka Street last Thursday, there are nobody in Worcester that is provocateurs. There are no provocateurs, and there's nobody in Worcester that's actually, different. Everyone is they're all like me. And I don't know why they're concerned. But nonetheless, out of an abundance of caution, Worcester City Hall will be closed at 5 p.m. today. And it's a crying shame. Yeah, it's too bad, but that's what's going to happen. By the way, since we're talking about Worcester, I was over on, wow, thank you so much for joining us today. Angry Survivor says, on a side note, can we all say a little prayer for my oldest, who was sworn into the United States military, Marine Corps infantry yesterday? Well, yes, good for him. Wow, we have a new Marine as part of the extended John F. Gately show family. Well, fantastic. That is great. That is great news. And we'll take a brief moment to pray for him and for all his fellow Marines. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, Angry. So good for him. I'm glad to hear that. Going back to Worcester, I was over on the ICE hotline website, their Instagram page. And do you know that they have a whole spiel about how they want Governor Healy to melt the ice? And they're actually saying that Governor Healy is not radical enough for them, even though she appointed Delita Roca, who runs the ICE hotline, to the Massachusetts Board of Education. So let's see if we get to flick the image here. It's not loading. Come on, Instagram. It's not loading. Oh, boy. Oh, I guess we'll have to go on to the next story on that. Okay, let's go on to the next story. I found through the loose hotline, Instagram, this story on Instagram. This apparently happened yesterday. We're going to show you the video on this. This is from Brooke Barletta. Brooke Barletta bills herself as a photographer based in, what a surprise, Hingham and Martha's Vineyard. And she's been featured in the Boston Globe, amongst other places, Hingham Life magazine, Martha's Vineyard magazine. You probably can guess the type of person that Brooke Barletta is. And over here on her Instagram, yesterday she lost her cool when ICE arrived and arrested an illegal immigrant somewhere in Weymouth on Middle Street. Let's take a look.
What's your name? And all three of them, they won't give their names. They're all masked.
They're all masked. They won't give their names. Don't they know I'm the authority?
So he's in this car. I think the other guy. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. What's your name? What's your name?
He's totally
Why are you taking him? 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 What's your name? What's your badge?
Then watch it.
Due process. Due process. You can go around me, buddy. Due process. Due process.
And then, of course, it stops because she then realizes that she's actually obstructing ICE from doing their job. She won't let them leave. She's standing in front of the vehicle. And so she's at least smart enough to shut the camera off at this point. Understand, Brooke Barletta, that they don't have to explain anything to you. You're some nut job on the sidewalk or in the middle of the street, as we showed you here. They'll answer to the court, which is where the power resides because it comes from the people. You are not a sovereign entity with your cell phone. They don't have to even give you the time of day. But you go on with your righteous indignation, due process, standing in front of ICE vehicles just like they did in Worcester, and claiming that he has been kidnapped, You know who's really happy about what just happened here? The landscapers that had to compete against this guy. Because one of the huge costs of illegal immigration that no one ever talks about is the reduction in wages that working class people suffer because Maura Healey and the Biden administration invaded our country with a bunch of cheap labor. So if you're an American, like, I don't know, grandma working in the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, understand explicitly that your wages have been depressed significantly by all the new labor that has come in to Massachusetts. If you're a landscaper, if you're competing against a job from this guy in whatever his landscaping business was, now you don't have to compete against this guy who is in your country illegally. He was in your country illegally. Just bring up his landscape, D&N Landscaping. He was competing for your job illegally, and now you don't have to compete against this guy. This is really good news for you. And the comments over here are absolutely fantastic. You spelled arrested for being a criminal wrong. The best part, she actually thinks she deserves an explanation. Excellent job, ICE. Keep up the good work for deporting the illegals. He wasn't kidnapped. He was here illegally. She just gets absolutely roasted in the comments. Brooke Barletta, another one of these people who is probably over on Martha's Vineyard, who couldn't be happier when DeSantis remember when DeSantis sent the illegals to Martha's Vineyard? She couldn't be happier when Charlie Baker got them off the vineyard in less than 36 hours, right? right? Remember Martha's Vineyard illegal alien policy? They just wanted them off as soon as possible. Oh, we can't handle them. Even though they were a sanctuary island, she was probably one of the people cheering that they left on the boat as soon as possible after DeSantis sent them there. By the way, Massive U-Turn has a whole brand new look. It is now a daily morning email. MassiveUturn.com is a daily morning email by me. You got all your stories over there that you want to follow up. So get over there, throw your email in the email caption box thing, and you can read today's post. It's free. All you have to do is throw your email in there, and you can read today's post, which we're going to cover for you right now. My pleasure, Angry Survivor. Glad to have done that. 60% of Healy Hotel families fail to provide required verification. So every 2 weeks, there's this bi-weekly report from the Healy administration. And in the last 2 weeks, we have the numbers for you. 60% of the people applying for Healy hotel rooms, the families, 60% of the families could not provide the required documentation. And I believe that the required documentation threshold is incredibly low. Meanwhile, Massachusetts Democrats, Mike Keneally, newly announced Brian Shortsleeve. We're going to get to that story as well today. So fortunately, because the border is now closed, the spigot is off. Thank you, President Trump. The number of people in the Healy hotels has declined somewhat, but it's still raging much higher than pre-invasion levels. The state so far this year has already spent $735 million, and we're on pace to spend at the current burn rate of about $880 million. So I can see it now. I can see the headlines now from the mainstream media. Healy spends less on Healy hotels than expected. They're gonna spin that as a victory, where really we should be spending. How many dollars should we be spending on Healy hotels next year? Zero is the answer. But they're gonna spin when the fiscal year finally ends. They're gonna spin the fact that they only spent $850 or $880 as a win. That's gonna be a win. Well, just you wait, because that is coming. So of the 480 families that applied for Healy hotel rooms in the last 2 weeks, 296 could not provide the required verification. Yet, only 5 families were denied. The other 265 families were just simply put into the pending category. Oh, we don't have documentation for you, but here's a free housing. Here's free housing. Don't worry, the taxpayers are paying for it. Don't you worry. Oh, you're not from. Oh, yeah. Don't you worry. Taxpayers are paying for it. It's free. Everything free. 12 people received a waiver, and only 7 people, or families, I should say, withdrew. You might not believe this, but even though Maura Healey killed 2 pipelines, and we have a video on that. You can click it if you go over to Massive U-Turn and click on today's newsletter. Believe it or not, today at 1:00, Maura is revealing her new plan to F things up on the energy front. You can't make this up, but it's part of the Democrat playbook. Screw things up and then complain that the market doesn't work and then propose more government involvement because that'll work. It's like doubling down on stupid, but that's what's going to happen today at 1:00. She's going to opine out there that everything is bad. The market is bad, and I'm here to fix it. Even though it was her prior plans and her plans since she's really been an attorney general that has screwed this up to no end, including the massive subsidies for offshore wind, which is an environmental and financial nightmare, her killing of 2 gas pipelines. All of that, Maura Healey, she's now going to be the one that runs to the rescue with her new energy plan, which Will it be to reverse all of her prior policies? No, it's to double down on her prior policies, because to reverse it would be to admit that she made a policy mistake and also annoy her donors, so she can't do that. In the meantime, she's just going to double down or triple down or whatever number, quadruple down on stupid, because that's all she can do. In the meantime, we do have some links down at the bottom. We have entered into the asymmetrical primary season, and we now have, how shall I say this, Keneally short sleeve MA Dems, like all three of them going after each other. We have a new announcement video from short sleeve, which came out yesterday. We covered. We have a Dem attack on short sleeve. I won't play that video, but it's out there. Michael Keneally attacked. There's the Democrat attack video on short sleeve, tying him to Trump, tying him to DeSantis. It was as expected. They were waiting for him. I guess the
Here
point
we go again.
of
Another candidate.
this video here is that no matter who they appoint or whoever wins the GOP nomination, the Democrats are going to run against Trump, and they're going to say, no matter who.
What he won't tell you is he'll fit.
That's the frame I wanted. No matter who is the Republican nominee, they're going to link him to Trump. And so this theory that we are going to somehow be able to nominate a moderate and then have that moderate status be respected by the Democrat Party is just it's ridiculous. It's almost as if somebody would say that doesn't know anything about winning elections. It's absolutely ridiculous, because they are absolutely going to, as I said yesterday, if we nominated Bernie Sanders for the GOP nomination for Republican governor in Massachusetts, they would label Bernie Sanders as Trump's best friend. And so for you to think that we're going to somehow not nominate a moderate, be respected as a moderate by the Democrat media establishment, by the Democrat Party, it's just ridiculous. It's as if you don't know anything about running elections and winning. Here is Michael Keneally yesterday in the playbook, the political playbook, taking a shot at Brian Shortsleeve and how he mismanaged the MBTA. He mismanaged the MBTA and left it in just as big a mess as he found it, said Keneally's campaign manager, Ben Hincher. It's hard to imagine what exactly he's proud of. So, as I said yesterday, running on the track record of the MBTA, that is going to be a tough battle, because, people don't like the MBTA. Whether Brian Shortsleeve did a good job or a bad job at the time he was there, people don't like the MBTA, so it's gonna be hard to really justify this, as a thing. So this past weekend, I should say, apparently ICE also sparked an outrage in Acton. ICE's presence in Acton sparks outrage. Hundreds rally and protest. I don't know what it is about these Democrats and these far left, lily white, wealthy suburban towns, Acton, Hingham. Why do they love illegal alien criminals so much? Oh, maybe it's because they can get their grass cut for cheaper. Huh? Maybe that's why. Or if you're an urban, white, wealthy Democrat, maybe it's so you can get your Grubhub delivered cheaper. I think that might be the reason why. Because if you're from Acton or Hingham or Martha's Vineyard, you're outraged by people getting kidnapped off the street. And poster boy for this, number one, is Communist State Senator Jamie Eldridge. Here he is with his mother, because on Mother's Day, he dragged her off to instead of taking her out to, he said he went to breakfast. Oh, isn't that nice? He had brunch, He had brunch with the family. Then he dragged his mom off to an ICE protest. Hands off Acton families is the poster. Jamie. Here's the thing. They're not Acton families. Just like the guy from Maryland, he wasn't a Maryland man. He's not a Maryland man. He's in El Salvador or Ecuadorian, wherever he was. These people are not Acton families. They're here in our country illegally, and whether they're from China or Ethiopia or Ecuador or whatever, they're from those families. They're not Acton families. They're invaders. And so hands off Acton family. Yeah, if you're a U.S. citizen, guess what, Jamie? You have nothing to worry about. This whole thing with people concerned about ICE being in the neighborhood is basically a giant admission that they know that our whole state is flooded with people who shouldn't be here. Because if you should be here and you're allowed to be here, you have documentation for that. The only people that should be concerned are people that are here illegally. This whole, like, oh my God, ICE is terrorizing, ICE is brutalizing, is all projection for the subconscious knowledge that they know there's tons of people here in Massachusetts illegally because of the invasion during the Biden administration. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And there's no doubt about it. Let's see. We have Buck here. Buck, they complained that the stock market went up. Go figure. Right. Yeah. Trump brings the China tariffs down like 90% or whatever it was. And all of a sudden, all of a sudden he's soft on China. Hilarious. Thank you, Buck, for mentioning that. Oh, by the way, there was another story that I wanted to cover, and I'm just going to quickly mention it. But before I do that, I just want to finish off the potential story that is brewing out in Worcester. There is a Worcester Telegram Gazette story this morning that the woman that got arrested by ICE last Thursday and charged, she's been charged with a assault with a dangerous weapon and assault and battery on a pregnant woman, that all stemmed from a domestic violence incident. And there's a story out of the Telegram Gazette in Worcester. If anybody has that story, you want to send it to me, that would be great. Jack at jack8lee.com. But I'm not a subscriber of that. There's too many newspapers to describe to. But yeah, so apparently, according to the Worcester Telegram Gazette, the Democrats are now protecting domestic violence abusers. Yeah, more details on that as the day goes on. So the one thing that I wanted to mention, and I didn't want to get into it too deep because I'm not an expert in this topic, but apparently one of the organizations that received a $100,000 grant from Attorney General Campbell just earlier this month, they received a $100,000 grant from Attorney General Campbell. They are the, let's scroll down here. They are the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence organization, led by Ruth Zakarian. Apparently, they have now just launched a ballot question effort to oppose the repeal of the gun law that Toby and the Civil Rights Coalition put on the ballot for 2026. So don't you worry, though, because money is not fungible. And I'm not alleging in any way, shape, or form that they took money from the Attorney General and then applied it to this ballot question. I am not suggesting that in any way, shape, or form. That is slanderous. So I'm not suggesting that. But the Attorney General did give this organization a grant just in, when was this? This was just last month for $100,000 for the next, up to the next 2 years. And then this organization just announced that they're going to be fighting Toby's civil rights Second Amendment ballot question in the fall of 2026. These things are totally unconnected and have nothing to do with each other. All right, any other comments? I think you should see Toby's feed on X, Cape Gunworks feed, for more details. Until then, you have a great day. It looks like a lovely day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.